Go ahead.
Thank you. So can you tell us your full name, Elizabeth, the name you were born with?
Yeah, that's my given name by my parents.
Elizabeth?
Yeah. In Hungary it sounds Erzsébet, but they say Erzsike, like Wojcik, not a boy, but yeah.
And where were you born?
You want the name of the village?
Yeah.
Ostoros. I have to write that down for you. Hungary, Borsod megye, Káni Borsod.
In what year?
1918, December 13.
Elizabeth, how old are you right now?
96. I finished 96 in December 13.
And
Hold on.
no.
Yeah, 3 times a week.
Wow.
I need to start doing that.
Yes,
That's amazing. That's so great.
that's make the muscles easy to move.
It does, yeah. It does. Elizabeth, what is your religious identity? Are you Jewish?
I am Jewish, yes. Elisheva, my Jewish name, Elisheva.
And how many siblings do you have, or how many siblings did you have?
I had 1 sister, that's all.
Elizabeth, can you give us a short, just very small summary of your experiences during the war?
Yeah, dear heart.
I know.
I had been on the death march. I have the original map what they use in a Nuremberg trial.
Wow.
My doctor has it, Beth Shalom Synagogue has it, I have it. I mean, I have it, but not in the house because
Yeah.
somebody, if I made a speech in school, somebody was my speaker because I don't want to embarrass the children
Yeah.
not to understand my accent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then after the speech, there was an answer and question, and they wanted to know more than
Yeah.
I answered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, sweetheart, I had been liberated May 8th.
Okay.
The 5th Division of the American Army. And from 1,000, they liberated less than 100.
Where were you?
Volare, it's very close to Czech country. Look like those bombs wanted to keep that many of us alive, just that they can claim to not to have to report back to their units.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we were at, I had been, I have a book there. I wish you would have 10 minutes to read it. I am mentioned in that, I have marked that
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
That they expected me to die.
Yeah.
But they gave me blood immediately. And they wanted to cut my leg,
Yeah.
or my left
Yeah.
off, because it was gangrene.
Oh, wow.
And I knew that I am alone in the whole world. And I told them, if they cannot save me, I rather die than lose my leg.
Yeah.
So they opened here and opened there and put a gauze
Yeah.
to keep it open and drain it and give me the medicine. And I made it.
Well, how many camps were you in?
Auschwitz-Birkenau.
How long were you there?
Until Christmas. And Christmas we started the marching and march until the government requested our work to dig
The trenches.
trench for the tank to fall in.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
camouflaged it,
Yeah.
as we saw. And when the very cold weather came in, they brought in Polish men and bombed the top of it.
Yeah. Okay.
And we still had to work. No gloves or,
Right.
and sweetheart, all the way with this experience, I had the courage that I had the feeling I will survive.
And you did.
And I did. But in that, I tell you, not enough word to express that night when we knew that the guards are not there and the Americans are in with us.
Yeah.
Not a minute sleep. It was unbelievable. Yeah, May 8, just imagine the war was over and we'd still been suffering like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Elizabeth, what can you just tell me really quickly what became of your sister and your parents? Where did they end up?
They ended up in a gas chamber because in that time Birkenau was where it located.
Yeah.
And on that first night, we didn't find peace because those barracks were not like sea lager, where
Right.
they had showers and not bed, banks. We slept on the floor like spoon put together.
Yeah.
And we didn't have the rest, and we expected when we will see them, when we will see, and whispering. And there was a Polish blocker tester. She was trusted she was responsible for us.
Yep.
And she could not stand us not to have peace. And she came out, she had a separate little room, and she came out and she said, listen folks, take a deep breath, and what do you smell are your relatives who you hope to see are burning out there. And then we told each other, this is sugar. We became quiet. Yes, yes.
Elizabeth, when did you first come to the U.S.?
1951.
And how did you get here? Did someone sponsor you?
Everything is a long story. Because hope against hope, I still hope that maybe my father escaped somehow, because he was only 62 and a very stable person. And when the Americans allowed us to go back and give us the passport and the money, and went back to Hungary, and then I put on the radio and newspaper looking for my father's name, that I am home and I am waiting. Then I learned that no sign, so had to accept that he is not coming back. And then I met my husband to be, and then decided I do not want to raise my child in that country. because it hurt us terribly. The peasants, otherwise it had not had been an anti-Semitic place because it was just a tiny little village, 3,000 souls, and we were the only Jews. And my parents did many, many good things for the peasants, helping and everything possible to make us like us.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then when we got married and had the child, I told my husband, he has large family, many survivors from his family, and I told him, I have an aunt, got a letter, exactly my mother's handwriting. I got shaky, and it was my aunt from Pittsburgh looking for family members, and I was the only one alive. So I answered her, and she said, as much as we can do, we want to help you if you're willing to come. So I told my husband to call the family together. If they willing, his side of the family, to go to Israel, I would give up America to be not break away from the family. But they didn't want to go. They decided to stay home. So for that reason that I went back home, I lost the status of being a homeless or a refugee.
Yeah.
So we went to the American embassy with different, when all those people in Paris, we went out to Paris, and all these people get together, we told each other our stories and what is possible. So finally, somebody said there is a special quota for some certain things, like somebody professional with lamb or so. I know everything about making wine because my parents had been in a wine. We had a vineyard, and I taught my husband everything about it. So we reported again to the American embassy as for the special permission, and then they said, that's a good idea, and where do you want to make that vineyard? And we knew Pennsylvania. We did not know that Pennsylvania don't have any, although now has. And when we told that, they said no, it's not possible. So we got to the end of our ropes, but in the meantime I went to Berlitz school and learned English, but not well enough. I decided one day that I am writing a letter Hungarian and take with me to the English class and ask the instructor, the teacher, to translate it, and a letter went to President Truman. And not much later, I sent it mail registered, and not much later, like a week, we got a letter which said that the letter reached the president and you will hear from the embassy very shortly.
Very good.
I still have those people on me. And in that time, when they called us, there was no question asked. Only how soon you can get ready. And we told her, in one suitcase everything fit in. And then that's how we got here. So that's why I love that even mention his name.
Yeah.
He was so wonderful. Yeah. And somebody told me write a book, but it's too many on the market, and
There is a lot.
I am not intelligent enough to do it. So it stay with me. My son don't know anything, but my oldest granddaughter know everything.
Yeah.
Because she is the one who was interested.
Yeah.
My son, if I said something, he cried, so I could not tell him.
Yeah.
So that's about it, sweetheart. That's about it.
And when I first came in, what kind of work did you do when you got here?
When we got here, my aunt had a restaurant. Yeah, she was very proud of me because my learned profession is dental technician. That's what I did in Hungary because I was not a college material, but my father was very smart, and
Yeah.
he see the future that everybody should be able to keep themselves.
Yeah.
And I learned that, and that's what I did. And my aunt was very proud. Boy, what a smart niece I am getting. And she had a dentist customer and asked him to give me a job. And he said, yes, I do that. And my aunt did not realize the difference in time, that I am not able to navigate or anything like that with a girl from her office, from her restaurant, sent me to the dentist the very next day. So when I went to the sink to mix the materials, I thought I am on the ship. I was leaning back and forth, and when I sit down, I just fall asleep. So they told me, don't come in again. So I met another refugee woman who had been a fitter or seamstress in the old country, and she saw me and she said, what are you doing? I said, I am cleaning up at my end if somebody is missing or making the salads and things like that. It was a very good little Hungarian restaurant was the name of it. And I helped her out, and I told my friend that's what I am doing. And she said, I give you a job. I give you a... What I will do? She said, alteration. I said, I never learned that, how it is. And she said, you are a woman, aren't you? You can hold a needle. I said, yes, I can do that. So, make a long story short, she gave me that job. But it was working in a basement and not enough self-confidence. Every night I went home, 8 years I sick at all, and went home with a headache and be afraid maybe I didn't do a perfect job. And it was one of the very exclusive dress shop here on 4th Street. And then I always walk and pass a crossing guard with a nice uniform and a friendly face, and the children around and a grown-up talk to her. I was so yearning to do that. I told myself I would be good and out in the fresh air. So one day I gathered enough courage to stop at her and ask, what is the way to get this job? And she asked me if I am a Democrat. And I am a Democrat. And she said, that's one good point for you. And she gave me a name and a city county building, and go to that gentleman, introduce yourself, and that's how it began. And it happened to be a man felt for me, a Jewish man. And he looked at me and he said, yeah, you are presentable enough. You would look all right in the uniform. You are hired.
Wow.
And that was it.
Voila.
For 27 years. But those were very happy years. I really like to do it.
Yeah.
I love the children, I love people, and somebody want to come in.
Yeah, the other kid, I don't know where he went, but that's okay.
So, what else I shall tell
Let's
you?
see, and can you tell me how many children, how many grandchildren, and how many great-grandchildren you have?
I have one son. We were penniless. See, at the beginning we had money in America because there was a man whose son worked in Detroit, and the son gave that American money equal to what we gave him in Hungary because he wanted to build a house. And that money went to my aunt. And $50 every month she sent us while we were in Paris.
Yeah.
More than 2 years.
Yeah.
And then that's how we managed.
Yeah. So you have one son and how many grandkids?
3 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren. And they are all over us.
And Elizabeth, what's one of your favorite things to do now? You said water aerobics, you like doing water aerobics.
Water aerobic. My really favorite thing would be gardening, but I am not allowed because I grew up with that.
Yeah. Elizabeth, would you say that your experiences during World War II, would you say they held you back as a person at all?
I am not allowed to think about it. 2 days ago, something was aching me, and I have a horrible voice, but for myself, I don't mind. Nobody else can stand it. And I sing what was my father's favorite song, what my husband's favorite song, my mother's, my sister's, and I just so yearn that I wish to dream about with them, and never comes, never. And another funny thing, when we work on that digging the ditch, we had lay out in a barn on the straw, and I kept gathering snow at night. I always wanted to keep myself as clean as possible. And then every single night, like my father knock on the door, as he used to in the old country when I had to go with the crew of working people, wake up, time to wake up, every single night. And now, no dream whatsoever.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Do me a favor.
Yeah, I have my father's army picture.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Well,
but-
do me a favor real quick and hold this one like up, like right here.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Beautiful, perfect. And now the other one. Let's get the, just hold this one.
Then I put this behind me.
Sure.
Okay. This is
Perfect. Thank you very much.
okay. And I